Coming to you live from the rinks in Hauppauge, you're listening to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League on LI Sports Network. Ryan Brannigan, joined by my producer Magnus Healy to my left, and to my right, Wally Mitchell, taking you through the final of a three-game set here on the South Rink on this chilly Wednesday evening in late November. Sachem and East Islip JV are set to square off against one another, and this is a critical game in terms of the standings between these two sides, as Sachem come into the night boasting a record of 3-6. They are in the 9 spot. East Islip are 4-3-1. Let me refresh, make sure that's right. I think it is, but just double checking here. Yeah, East Islip 4-3-1 with one overtime loss. They're in 7th with 10 points. Sachem have 6 points. Sachem trying to get their season turned around following not the greatest start you could ask for, and that would be a 5-game losing streak out of the gate for the silver and gold. Turned things around. The start was a win against Smithtown Hauppauge JV Blue 3-2. They crushed Northport 7-0. They crushed Ward Melville 12-1. And had a slight setback a game ago, a tight game against West Islip, in which they lose 4-2. I believe the 4th goal was an empty netter. And so for Sachem, trying to get back in the win column, trying to turn that season around, and a win tonight will go a long way. For East Islip, as I mentioned, propped up by their ties and loss in overtime. They tied long with 3-3, and they're following arguably their best win of the year, a 7-1 victory over St. Anthony JV Black, as that came as quite the upset. They played St. Anthony tight both times. Both St. Anthony teams, that is, a 2-1 loss against St. Anthony JV Gold. Their losses, EI, have not been any larger than 3 goals in terms of the margin, and that was against the top of the league team in Smithtown Hauppauge JV Red, who just got their 9th win of the year as they cruised past Connecticut Sayville 10-0. Some players to keep an eye out for here in this one for East Islip. They're led by Colin Inga in terms of points with 16. 15 points for Kyle Kearney and 10 points for Blaschuk. As we're underway, East Islip and Sachem. It's Hesse, the leading scorer for Sachem. Zach Hesse has 11 points in 7 games played. Second on the team is Hunter. He's got 10, and Ryan Retigliano, he's got 7 in 8 games played for the silver and gold. As that's fired wide, their starting goaltenders tonight, Michael Walsh in net for Sachem, and Sasso is a turnover. Here's a chance the other way for Blaschuk. He goes wide as soon as he enters the zone. Shot toward Walsh, deflects up and out of play. So we get a whistle here. Just over 30 seconds gone by in the hockey game. So Sasso and Walsh are goaltenders here tonight. Offensive zone draw to the left of Sachem goalie Walsh, won by Retigliano. And DiPietro has it in behind, give it away. Chance of wraparound try, Blaschuk denied by Walsh. Chiefs content to keep firing, and a sharp angle try that time from Kearney is denied by Walsh. So a turnover behind the Sachem net, resulting in the chance there for EI. LaRue to take the draw to the right of Walsh. It's won again by Retigliano in the defensive end, and lifted ahead for Tyler Payton. Helped along by Retigliano, who hustles after it. Lemaire gets there first for EI. Lemaire works it around. That, by the way, there's 2 Lemaires. That is Justin Lemaire, number 4. Andrew Lemaire wears 44. As if they're trying to make it as hard as possible. There's a chance, and going down, getting it across. What a save made by Walsh. EI continue to put the pressure on. The puck gets just by Brian Friesen, but a huge chance out in front. Couple of good early opportunities for EI to start this hockey game. And Michael Walsh has been fabulous here to start for Sachem. Down the far wall goes DiPietro. He'll throw one toward the front of the net. Never got through to anybody there from DiPietro. Now he runs into Vertigliano. The two of them go whoopsie, and then away come EI. Or at least they tried to. Lemaire left it behind him. Vertigliano cuts on in. Vertigliano poked away. Good defensive play made by Brian Friesen. Lifted over the head of Krusch and tracked down by Harrison. Poked to the neutral zone by Sachem. Krusch trying to get on the other end of it. Krusch battling LaRue. LaRue pokes it to open space. Hesse comes back on it. And now Krusch controls behind the net. Harrison on the forecheck for EI. Hesse tried to skate it clear. It was poked away from him, and now Loeb trying to nudge it on for Hesse. Eventually does. And Zach Hesse challenged from behind by Andrew Lemaire, who tried to go across to Kai Kelly, over skated. And Sachem recollecting their own end. Given away to Sursik. Sursik only able to kind of tap it toward Walsh, who swung and missed with the stick as he tried to poke it away. Sachem attempt to break out. It's Hunter. Hunter trying to lead his man, Feely. And it's turned back in the zone by Sursik. So a lot of early possession and opportunities here for the East Islip Chiefs at the start of this game. Hunter. Now Wellman comes through. Wellman can't get a shot on. A diving effort defensively made. Great play there by Matt Friesen. Held in by Hesse only for a moment. Comes back into the neutral zone, and Kane will send it through. Long shot found its way into the glove of Walsh, and he holds on to it. So EI with the better of the play to start. It's where 11:22 left here in the first period. You're listening to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League on LI Sports Network. Be sure to follow us on social media at LI Sports Network on Instagram and other places. As Kane looks to start the breakout. Payton there along with Vertigliano, and Blaschuk for EI as Chris Saguna finds Payton. Payton's backhand sauce helped along by Saguna. DiGiacomo trying to get a stick on it. Most of these teams, both for Sachem and EI, are largely made up of their freshman teams from a year ago. And for EI, that freshman team made it all the way to the championship. They had a fantastic regular season as well. They fell in overtime in Game 3 of the finals. That shot directed toward Walsh, stabbed away by Walsh by Colin Inga. Inga, one of the few exceptions who weren't on that freshman team, along with Payton, who had a play on it here in terms of Sachem's freshman team. Sachem missing key addition. Brother of our cameraman, Jack Mitchell, is still recovering from a lower body injury, as the NHL would put it. Here is Hesse down the far board, survives the hit. Hesse a drive, and looking behind him, but he's got it, was Sasso. His first real test of the game. He makes the save with just under 5 minutes gone by in the first period. No score between Sachem and EI. Hesse, who has played a large majority of this first period, remains out. Feely to take the draw. Banked along by Kai Kelly. DiPietro stopped it for a moment. Now Kalber tries to bank ahead for Hesse. Too far for him. Sent back onto the stick of Kalber by defenseman Justin Lemaire. Harrison takes a big hit into the boards, dished out by DiPietro. Here's Loeb along the near boards. Loeb. Now Kalber on goal. Kalber! And that was Loeb in front. Never got a shot through. One move too many. Taken back by Hesse. Hesse charges on in. Hesse has it poked away by Justin Lemaire. Great defensive play. And Portanova unable to hold in on the right point. High flip. Nice little play made by Friesen. That's Matthew. Tries to go back to the point, but D were making a change. Wellman trying to take advantage. Wellman down the near wall, fires wide, but establishes the zone. Feely catches up with it on the far side. Feely to Wellman. Wellman out in front, and that's Matt Friesen taking over. Friesen for Bruzzo, and Bruzzo sends in Krusch. First on it for Sachem. Up the far boards, right onto the skate of Wellman, who's got speed. Wellman joined by Hunter, and they call offsides. Oh, a blunder there for Sachem. They had a 2-on-0. The only thing that was going to stop it wasn't offsides, and it did. So tough break there for Sachem. Self-inflicted wound. Rutigliano to take the ensuing face-off. He wins it back for Chris Saguna. Saguna to Kane. Rolls off the heel of his stick. Tracks back to it. Kane in the corner. Rutigliano wearing the C for Sachem and their JV squad. Speeding through the neutral zone. He'll flip it in around the boards. Sasso keeps it moving. Bruzzo meets it along the near boards. Now Rutigliano behind the net. Left it for Chris Saguna. Tries to go out in front. Hunter. And getting the stick in there. Nice play by Brian Friesen. Shot from Chris Saguna. Hit a body in front. Deflects all the way out and down into the Sachem end of the ice. Sachem's forward group going for a change. Hunter deflects ahead. Slowed down by Kearney. Hunter trying to chase after it. And pushed ahead now for Rutigliano. Deeks as soon as he establishes the zone. Rutigliano spinning out of a few. Rutigliano still on the puck for now. Gets it back to the point for a shot from DiPietro. That's blocked. Getting in the way of it that time was Osimo as that shot goes wide from Calberer. Calberer has it again at the near point, and that shot off the skate of DiGiacomo deflects wide. Payton in behind. Payton going to work there on Emmett Reynolds. Here's Rutigliano to Calberer. Calberer's shot. That hits Inga and deflects wide into the corner where Payton goes to work. And Kearney comes away with it. Kearney just able to get it out of the zone, sent right back in by DiPietro. Inga try to tap it on for Kearney. DiPietro there to intervene. DiGiacomo as well. And DiPietro emerges with the puck. Carries in. DiPietro a drive wide. Comes all the way out of the zone and down. DiGiacomo will play it back to Krusch. Krusch, a return pass. Not expecting it. DiGiacomo, he was trying to go off to the bench for a change. And that allows Matthew Friesen to recollect in the neutral ice. Inga to Kearney. Over the line onside REI. And getting crunched into the boards was Blaschuk. Kearney now a check on Krusch. Kai Kelly activates from the near point. Inga for Blaschuk. Wrist shot wide. Stayed low on the ice that time. Kai Kelly with it. That shot through Krusch, who got a piece of it off the side of the net. Kearney with it. In behind. Hesse trying to quickly get it out. It's Kearney back on it. Comes out in front. Puck available. Kelly. Wrister blocked by Loeb. And an absolute mess of LIE traffic in front that time. EI still possessed. Great shift out in front past Inga. And Matthew Friesen keeps in along the far point. Chipped into the air. Krusch, can they clear? No, they can't, says Kai Kelly. But Hesse finally able to skate to center with some open ice. Hesse, Deeks. Hesse across. No one could get a stick on it for Sachem. And Inga sends it down. Chris Saguna Try to go right back up ice. Hesse there. And now back to Saguna. Returns to Hesse. Saguna rocking that number 10 tradition jersey. Practice jersey, if you will. LaRue trying to get Blashchuk off the turnover. It was blocked by Kane. Good puck movement from EI. Generates the shot from the near circle from LaRue. That's stopped by Walsh. Now out in front for LaRue again as his stick lifted. That time I think it was Hesse defensively. And Feely gets it to the red line, goes for a change. Kai Kelly right back into Blashchuk. Blashchuk's shot blocked by Saguna. Rutigliano, far corner, sends it to the near side. Kelly keeping it alive for EI, as he's done a number of times on this shift. Kane in the corner, and now Rutigliano emerges. Banks one ahead for Hunter. Hunter had a hard time receiving. It's still not out. Harrison off the side of the net, comes out the other side. Harrison try to center, blocked by Kane, gets it back. Harrison one more time, no. Trying to get it out in front to LaRue. And he had his stick checked. Turnover, Rutigliano trying to get some offensive zone time here for Sachem. Long shot from Wellman, sticked away by Sasso. And EI quick to clear. Goes past the stick of Kalberer, all the way down. No icing here as Kalberer try to get a play on it. Down the wall, DiPietro. Harrison now with it, spinning away from DiPietro to the net, and hugging the post was Walsh to make the save. Scrum now along the near boards. Finally comes free, and Hunter trying to go to himself. Able to get around Reynolds for the moment, but back come EI. LaRue around DiPietro, around the net. In between the feet of Reynolds. Held in by Andrew Lemaire. Now DiPietro attempts to skate it out. He banks it and has perfect geometry there as it goes right on goal to Sasso, avoiding the icing. And the Ice Monster takes down Brian, fries him behind the net. Another victim claimed by that dastardly Ice Monster. It's onside is the play, but a great step up by Portanova. Portanova, though, flipping it right back into possession of EI, and now a whistle. We haven't had too many of those, have we, Magnus? No, says Magnus. Already with just 1:38 left here in the first period. No score between Chiefs and Sachem. And a penalty upcoming. Is it for too many players? That's my guess here, Magnus. Magnus nods, and going off to serve the penalty, it appears, is Justin Bogorowski. Yep, too many players on the ice for EI. Faceoff should go all the way down to the EI zone. That's what the officials are telling all of the players lined up at center. Not sure if they knew that there was a penalty either. So power play Sachem. It'll be their first of the game. First for either team, won by Hesse in the O-zone. Cruz quickly across, Portanova loads up, fires, deflected, bouncing puck, and was somehow kept out. Perhaps helped out by the diving effort of Justin Lemaire, as that deflected puck in front went the complete opposite direction goaltender Sasso was going. Alert play by Lemaire to get back, though I'm not sure if he actually prevented a goal. He very well could have. So we stay scoreless. Face off to the right of Sasso. Up for grabs. Hesse comes out with it. Hesse turns, fires wide with Payton set up in front. Payton now tries to play it from his stomach. He drew a penalty as he was taken down behind the net. And now a huge opportunity presents itself for Sachem as they have an extended 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 35 seconds. But I'd say more importantly is if they'd want to score in 1 minute and 13 seconds, which is how much time is left in the first period. Because once that intermission comes and the faceoff comes out to center ice, it definitely can have an effect on the momentum of things. Huge moment here for Sachem and for EI to try to kill it off. Rutigliano. Hesse. Back to Saguna. Saguna try to return to Hesse, just out of his reach. Payton set up in front, a wise decision. He's going to battle with Kai Kelly at the moment. Meanwhile, puck along the boards, comes out, Rutigliano to Kalber. Kalber to Saguna, walks, fires, and getting the stick in to deflect it out of play. Great defensive play made by Friesem. That is Brian Friesem. Brian with a Y. Comes in and down goes the official. The Ice Monster has no relent here tonight. Claims its second victim. In case you didn't know, yeah, ice tends to be a bit slippery. Makes you wonder just how it's even possible that all these players at any level out there just gliding on blades, essentially knives on their feet with sticks and a rubber mass called a puck. It's something, isn't it? Payton out in front. He scores! Power play goal with 16.6 seconds left. Scored by Tyler Payton.
McMahon flips it up the boards.
Great feed out in front, but watch. Forehand just keeps the momentum going.
They shoot. They score.
Hesse picking up an assist.
And right now that team's been the Friars.
Payton, his third of the year.
Upset, that means
fifth point.
Possession. That shot, they
score! On the board.
Back and forth he goes, dangling the puck. As now Minardi has it. Minardi.
Back down ice, and a save made by Sasso with Loeb on the rush. So because the goal was scored while it was 5-on-3, still 57 seconds of a 5-on-4 power play here for Sachem. It'll get interrupted in 5 seconds by the conclusion of the first period. Sachem offside, Rutigliano gets the memo, Loeb does not, as the first period comes to an end. Sachem on top of EI by a score of 1-0. At the end of one, you're listening to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League here on LI Sports Network. You got a little bit of a preview of what we have in store for you. That is the top 10 plays of the week, and they're coming your way, numbers 10 through 6, and right now.
McMahon flips it up the boards. They shoot. They score.
And right now that team's been the Friars. So if the Cougars want to pull off an upset, that means possession. That shot, they score!
Back and forth he goes, dangling the puck. As now Minardi has it. Minardi will take it through the slot. Stop short. Back up top to the blue line, send it back down low. Rebounded, out in front, Minardi with it now. 360 for the pad save.
At least 6 or 7, if not more, shots. Here's Scotty, odd man rush, 2-on-1 developing. Scotty scores!
And now it's going to be a chance here. Breakaway, Panicia to the backhand. He scores!
So there you go. Plays 10 through 6 of the top 10 plays of the week. Sachem still with 47 seconds of power play time that carry over here into the second. They scored on the 5-on-3. Tyler Payton is third. Has Sachem ahead 1-0. And here he is. He moves in, fires. It's blocked off the skate of Lemaire, that being Justin. Payton to Hesse. Hesse to the point, Saguna. Saguna across to Kane. Kane, wrist shot looking for a tip. Got one, but it was blocked anyway. Traffic out in front of that net. Sachem's power play, still 24 seconds left on it. They're 1-for-1 here tonight. Hesse. As we say goodbye to our producer, Magnus Healy. Hesse, a drive and a save made by Sasso. Up the wall, the far boards, holding in for the moment there was Kane. Puck got by him, getting over was Saguna. And good thing he did, prevented a shorthanded opportunity there for EI. Speaking of shorthanded opportunity, there's another one. Martigliano, though, gets it ahead to Payton. We're back to 5-on-5, so 1 for 2 on the power plays tonight are the silver and gold of Sachem. Hesse in the near corner, bumped by LaRue. Hesse goes northward, or backward with it, I should say, toward the point. Payton in the corner, had it for a moment, tried to get it to Hesse, hit a stick, and now out of the zone it comes. Cruz hustles to it, and he's going to beat Friesen to the puck. Nice play, though, by Matthew Friesen. Chance off the side of the net, Matthew Friesen. He'll reverse to Kearney. Kearney dangles away from Cruz. Kearney circling. Kyle Kearney to Brian Friesen. Try to go down low to Harrison. It's taken away and cleared by Sachem and Saguna. Right back in it comes, though. Harrison near circle. Try to go cross ice over to Matthew Friesen. Taken away. Not quite out of the zone, and now Hesse pokes it just enough past the defender holding the line. That was Kai Kelly. Hesse dangles now. Hesse is in. Hesse the backhand save made Sasso. What a move by Zach Hesse. Still in the zone of Sachem. It's Wellman. Wellman back to Hesse. Across to Cruz. Cruz, wrister, sticked away by Sasso. And he was aggressive to get to that puck. Kept in on the far blue by Portanova. And now the puck comes into the neutral ice area. Good pass, 2-on-1 developing. On across, and a save by Walsh. What a stop. Kearney with it now. Kyle Kearney. And that gets through everyone, not out of the zone. Good keep-in by Reynolds, but Hunter makes sure it gets to the neutral ice. And now Hunter trying to touch up, but he was tangled up there with Brian Friesen, so an offside is ruled. With 12:01 left here in period number 2. Again, you're listening to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League on LI Sports Network. New episode of Rinks and Realities, hosted by my friends Travis Quigley and Paul Trentini, the old Panasonic Paul, produced by Wally Mitchell, our cameraman tonight, drops on Friday, this Friday, and 2 days from now, and it's all about the Suffolk County High School Hockey League, so I encourage you all to check that one out. Moved on across, and Loeb had it between his sticks. Back out in front, Feely a chance. And it's lifted to the line, not out. But now they get by. Inga with Blaschuk. Kalber, the only defender back. Kalber challenges Inga. Inga tried to sweep it out in front. Eventually got its way through. And a blocker save made from a sharp angle there on Blaschuk. Low shot deflected and a save made Walsh. Mo, has he been good tonight or what? Michael Walsh for Sachem. Blaschuk with it now. Far circle shot blocked. Has another chance. No, it's poked away by DiPietro. DiGiacomo forechecking Blaschuk, who gets it to Inga. Colin Inga drops for Kearney. Kearney challenged from behind that time by, I believe that was Feely. Yeah, Feely, who got a pass from Loeb. Feely backhands in on goal to Sasso. Sasso in the corner. Loeb first one on it. Loeb fans on the pass out in front. Poked past the pinching defender of Kane, and away comes Blaschuk. DiPietro trying to get back. Blaschuk hits the brakes, got across. Inga the shot, and a save made by the left pad of Michael Walsh. So we remain 1-0 in favor of Sachem, but EI getting chances. Holding in at the far point, Matthew Friesen works it down low to Blaschuk, spins away from one. Gets it over to Kearney. His pass blocked by Hunter. Kearney eventually getting away from Hunter. Hunter right back on him. Now drops for Friesen. Matthew Friesen moves it in around, gets hit from behind by DiPietro while he had the puck and was not facing the board, so no penalty there. And now a amalgamation of players in the corner. Eventually comes Frida Kane. There's your SAT word of the night, amalgamation. Meanwhile, Loeb receives the pass, gets around Kelly. Loeb shot and a kick save made by the right pad of Sasso. Friesem hits Inga. Puck rolls just off his stick and onto the stick of Saguna, who plays it back. 9:30 left, second period. 1-0 Sachem over EI. I stressed and heightened the importance of this game here tonight. Basically a must-win for both teams in terms of maintaining their standing. Bogorowski, that shot hit the stick of Saguna and went wide. Tapped out of the zone by Hunter. Hunter giving chase to Friesem. Friesem lost an edge, went down, but was still able to play it ahead to his wingers, and Bogorowski trying to go forward with it. And now push back into the EI zone. Sasso all the way out to the circle to play it ahead to Matthew Friesem. Friesem dumps in. Portsanova trying to get a stick in on it. DiGiacomo is there as well. Blaschuk able to play it on back. And now a shot from Friesem turned aside by Walsh. Another pass blocked, and now DiGiacomo trying to clear. Ritigliano trying to help it along. Passes back to Saguna. Saguna will carry it the rest of the way. Saguna stops, loads up, fires over the net. He got all of that one, but couldn't get it on goal. Ritigliano intercepts in the neutral zone, then runs into Payton. And sent right back along by Sachem. Reynolds with Ritigliano forechecking. Payton in support. Puck gets by Portsanova, and away comes Harrison. Harrison one-on-one, trying to get around Krush. And puck rolled onto Walsh, who had to stick it away. Free puck in the near circle, sent around by Payton, right onto the stick of Harrison. Harrison to Osimo, back to Harrison. Harrison out in front, and Payton got a stick on it. Free rein here for Reynolds. Wrist shot on, save made. Walsh rebound. Kicks to the near corner. Payton can't clear. Reynolds. Wrister blocked by Krush. Krush and Osimo coming together along the near side of this very tightly contested 1-0 game in which Sachem leading EI. Pushed on across, Portsanova off the glass and into the penalty box area, so we get a stoppage in play. You're listening to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League on LI Sports Network. Ryan Brannigan, Wally Mitchell. We'll be back after just a moment on LI Sports Network. Back to action. Face off to the right of Walsh. Kicks to the near corner. Harrison. Sachem leading 1-0 on a goal scored on a 5-on-3 power play by Tyler Payton. Here is Hesse. Hesse with speed into the zone around Kai Kelly. Hesse is shot and a save made by Sasso, as this is quickly became quite the goaltending duel. A duel between Sachem's Michael Walsh and East Islip's Joey Sasso. Joseph Sasso, indeed. And he has been excellent. The one blip, again, a 5-on-3 goal. It's hard to blame a goaltender on. Point blank rip in front from Tyler Payton. And to this point, Walsh has been excellent until now. They score! Tie game! A turnover in front. It's in the back of the net, as often as how the saying goes, and the goal scored by Robert Harrison. And Harrison, just his second of the season, knots the game up at 1. Those of you privy to the announcer's jinx saw that goal coming from a mile away. Held in by Andrew Lemaire of EI. Kane trying to clear. First attempt doesn't work, second attempt does. Only as far, though, as Kai Kelly, who rips it right back in. What up, Paul Trentini? Making an appearance over on the North Rink. There you've got Northport varsity, I believe, in action tonight. In a 1-1 game. Just as this is a 1-1 game. Feely trying to change that. Feely try to cut through a bunch of defensemen. Now Loeb across, hoping for Ritigliano. Feely a follow-up. Doesn't get a shot through. Good defense from EI. Saguna to Kane, and Kane to Ritigliano. Nice move, Ritigliano. 3-on-2 over the blue here for Sachem. Ritigliano cuts middle, poked away from him. Saguna, good follow-up. Drops it for Ritigliano. They have players set up in front. Ritigliano was hoping to get a deflection. Didn't get one. Has it back. Ritigliano, wrist shot from the slot. Not sure if that got through. With Loeb in front. Loeb, it's there, and it's cleared out. Alert defensive play. Was it made by Kyle Kearney? It was either Kyle Kearney or Friesen. Luke LaRue got an assist, by the way, on the Harrison goal. The lone assist on the goal. And for Luke LaRue, is there a scrum there in the corner? His 8th point of the year, 3rd assist. Ritigliano drags, poked away from him. Feely, support. Back out it comes. Sachem making a fire wagon change. Portanova off the bench having to make a play on Kai Kelly. And now Inga drive wide. As his shot partially blocked there by DiGiacomo. Krush finally getting involved in the play off the bench as well. Blaschuk in behind Walsh. Poked off his stick, and Portanova has it ride the dasher onto the stick of Friesen, Matthew Friesen. Sachem trying to clear on the far wall. Poked back down the boards for Inga. Inga out in front, right on the stick of Matthew Friesen, blocked in front. Kearney takes a hit from Portanova. Portanova, the only player down, though, as a result of it. Comes to the line. Feely can't clear. Good step up from Kai Kelly. And again, held in by Kai Kelly, whose shot goes wide. Kearney hit by DiGiacomo, and here's Hesse. Comes out with it. Zach Hesse gliding around Kelly to the net. He scores! What a beautiful goal! Scored by Zach Hesse. It's 2-1 Sachem. Hesse doing his best Rick Nash impression as he takes it from the backhand to the forehand around the goaltender's pad. And what are you to do if you're Sasso on that one? So Sachem retake the lead 2-1 on a goal scored by Zach Hesse, their leading goal scorer, his number 6th of the year, now ties Hunter for the team lead. Here's Payton in behind the net. Can Sachem build momentum off the goal? Payton, his shot glancing off the stick, and now rushing it ahead of Reynolds. Reynolds surviving a stick check. Reynolds fanning on the shot. Taken back by Ritigliano, who comes in behind the net looking for space to break out for Sachem. Ritigliano hits Payton into the zone. Payton around the defender, cuts to the forehand. Couldn't get a shot through. Nifty stick check provided by Bogorowski. Ritigliano back on it. Down the wall, catching up with it. Wellman along the near side. Wellman trying to go back to the point. DiPietro was there and couldn't keep in. Backhands across to his D partner, Kalber. Kalber up the far wall. Tapped and deflected along by Ritigliano. Cut off, however, by Reynolds. Giveaway, Ritigliano's in. Ritigliano denied. Left pad stop made by Sasso. Another chance. Payton off the side of the net. Payton in the corner, battling Friesen. Reaches all the way around Friesen, but there to collect and send it up the boards. Osimo. And Bruzzo with it now, with Bogorowski. Saguna cuts it off, fires up the wall, and Justin Lemaire settles it back down for EI. He's got Friesen, Brian to Osmo and into the zone. Saguna takes over for Sachem, across to Kane. Kane misfires the pass. It's taken away by Justin Lemaire. Check from behind by Wellman, and that brings Hesse. Hesse trying to cut in, trying to go to the backhand, and the stick of Sasso ultimately got in to make the play. All the way back down. Walsh to stop it. Sends around. Kane on the other side. Sends up ice into a sea of EI players coming off the bench. Feely there. You see, sometimes you get too many players on the ice penalty as a result of that when you just fling it into a mess of changing players. You don't see it here. Not saying we should have, just something I've noticed. Anyway, Feely, loose puck. Wrist shot, save made. Good shot there from Feely at room glove side, and quickly closing off that room was Joseph Sasso. 2-1. Sachem leading EI here with 47.8 seconds to go in the second period. A very highly entertaining, tightly contested game between two teams desperate for a win. Harrison able to get it over to LaRue. Now Lemaire wide with the shot. Had the right idea. Going glove side. Just missed the net. Krush. Hesse. Andrew Lemaire on the forecheck here for EI. Out there with his sibling Justin, who has it here. Justin, backhand shot, save. Puck is loose in the crease. Oh, it's still loose. They whack and jab away at it. It's still available. Throw back on to Walsh, who finally covers. Oh boy, I was close to tying on a mad scramble in front of Walsh in the paint. I mean, look at it. So 1 second left in the period. I know it says 0. There's 1 left, and stay tuned in between periods. We've got top 10 plays of the week. Shot off the draw. Wise play by Lemaire. It was blocked, though, by Hunter. And now a little bit of extracurricular going on. It's Justin Lemaire and Andrew Lemaire. DiPietro involved, still discussing things over with Justin Lemaire as the teams finally make their way back to their benches, or at least those players do. We've come to the end of the second period. Sachem leading EI 2-1 right here on the LI Sports Network. Top plays of the week, 5 through 1. Coming your way in right now. To Nasta. Nasta around light. Into the zone, Nasta. Another move. Stays with it. Nasta scores! Time.
The wheel. Fisher couldn't get around Resinello. And Resinello in with LaFada. Resinello shoots. He scores!
We'll go back for DiPietro. That's on to Loeb. Loeb over the line, nice move, lost the handle, it still worked out in front. They scored.
By Sherwood. Sherwood has it come off his stick. Spun by Crispin. Crispin to Karpowicz. Nice move. Karpowicz scores! Walter skating back to his Sullenberg. Gets the first pace centering pass. Saunders shut down by Rudloff. What a save! So there you go, number 1 play on the week. Bowden Rudloff of Northport Huntington with that save. Congrats to him. First ever number 1 spot of our weekly countdown, and our first ever weekly countdown, that is. And how about a shout out there to Loeb and Feely making the list there, number 3 of Sachem. We've seen both of them here tonight. Might have a feeling the Hesse goal, or maybe one of these saves, cracks next week's, as we're set to start the third period of a game that has had the feeling of a playoff game in getting to be late November. Fast approaching the midway point of the season. Matter of fact, this could be, I'm going to double check, the 10th game of the season for these teams, in which case that would be the exact midpoint. It is for Sachem, and it is for EI. I think so, yeah. Chance just missed there for the Chiefs of EI. Now Sachem take back over. Ortigliano with speed into the zone. Centers Hunter. Hunter had a stick check by Friesem. Another nifty play made by Brian Friesem. Now away comes EI, and Inga left it behind him. Nearly had a breakaway. Great back check from Sachem to stop the Inga chance. The leading scorer for East Islip, Colin Inga. Ortigliano fires it around. Hunter trying to get to it. Hunter, nice play. Gets it by the defenseman. Justin Hunter with the Sachem. 2-on-1. Hunter, a drive save. Rebound. Stabbed away by the stick of Sasso, who played that perfectly. Defender took away the pass. Sasso played the shot. And now lifting into the neutral zone. Breakaway chance. Blaschuk is in. Blaschuk scores! What a pass! What a goal! We're tied at 2. We don't see the full pass here, but it's a beautiful pass. And then 5-hole with the goal for Blaschuk. Didn't have time to make a deke, to make a move. Took what he was given, and he has given East Islip life here in the third. A tie game in the opening few minutes. Kelly across. Reynolds banks ahead. Osimo by him. And now stepping in over the line off sides for EI. Blaschuk from, it was Matthew Friesem with that pass. What a pass by Matthew Friesem for Blaschuk. His third goal of the year. Carrying it over the line, Osimo, poked off his stick by Chris Saguna. Payton. He opened the scoring for Sachem toward the end of that first period. And now on the loose puck is Hesse. Hesse lifting one ahead for Wellman. Too far for Wellman in the NHL. It's a good play. In the SCHSHL, it's an icing. But nothing these players aren't used to at this point. So face-off down to the right of Walsh. Bogorowski to take the draw. He's got Kelly behind him. Kelly talking things over with Reynolds. Face-off won, though, defensively by Sachem. Puck flies up into the air, poked at by Walsh, and a save made by Walsh on Bogorowski. Bogorowski turns, fires, deflected on. Another save made by Walsh. Loeb trying to clear, he can't. Cruz to the line, not out, held in by Reynolds, loads up, fires, hits a couple of sticks and deflects wide. Bogorowski near corner. Attempts to make a play on it, back out to the point, a shot through a couple of sticks into the chest of Walsh. I was going to describe what that is. The tomahawk, I guess, on the chest of Walsh. Battle for possession. Loeb trying to clear it. Justin Lemaire trying to keep it. Puck does eventually come to center. Knocked down by Matthew Friesem, who sends in to Pietro. Catches up with it behind the net. Hits the brakes. Up for Feely. Feely hands back to Calber, who hits Loeb. Loeb trying to get around Justin Lemaire. Loeb near circle. Shot, glove save Sasso, and He's got it. .11:37 left, third period. Tomahawk indeed. Sachem and EI all square, 2 apiece. Face off to the left of Sasso. Hesse on it. Hesse fights through a couple of stick checks, then hands back to DiPietro. DiPietro battling LaRue and Harrison. DiPietro comes away with the puck, puts one across off a skate, and EI can break out. Harrison with Andrew Lemaire. Left it behind him, and Hunter pokes it just past the line and out of the zone. LaRue on back to Matthew Friesem and across, deflects off the stick of Lemaire, nearly up here into the seats and out of play. 11:04 remaining here in the third period. Shout out Donna Soderman in the chat there, help me out. Confirming the Tomahawk. Meanwhile, EI, no debate on what's on the front of their jersey. Have it in the zone, centering pass, comes back to Kai Kelly. Kelly, wrister blocked, and now Sachem can come away with it. They've got numbers. Wellman for Hunter, 2-on-1. Hunter, far circle, and that pass is blocked. A diving play by Brian Friesem. Excellent defense from the EI defender, Brian. Pass ahead of Hesse. Hesse trying to track back to it. Blaschuk had other plans, keeps it back in deep for the Chiefs of EI. Around, held in by Inga. Inga back down low. Hesse gets to it. Hesse skates up the left wing side. Hesse check from behind by Kearney and comes to Blaschuk. Blaschuk to Inga. Inga stick handles, tries to get around Kane. Kane got the stick in, nice play. Puck in his skates though and turns it over, fired around to the near side for Kyle Kearney. Kearney settles, pokes it down the near wall. Handled by Portanova. Into the neutral zone, cut off by Reynolds. Sends it back toward the Sachem bench area where Payton collects for Sachem. Payton has it knifed away from him by Reynolds. Picked up by Hesse. Hesse runs into Reynolds. Puck though onto the stick of Brian Friesem. And into the neutral zone, here's Krusch. Krusch with Inga checking him from behind. Not a lot of space out there as these two teams, both defensively, having great games, not allowing too much from the other team. Here's Ritigliano trying to change a little bit of that. He, again, with very little space as it's quickly evaporated due to the defensive play of Kyle Kearney. Payton had it in his skates, lost it. Portanova steps up, and now a potential odd man rush going the other way. Portanova hustling back, but a backhand pass across, and the stick of Walsh got in the way of it. It was ahead of Blaschuk regardless. Portanova fires it around the dasher. Trying to cut it off here is Brian Friesem. He does. Lift it off, and ahead of him, foot race to Giacomo, and Matthew Friesem, and Friesem just beat Giacomo to the puck, barely. Caught up in the officials, both together along the near boards. Here's Inga, poked away from him, now Ritigliano. 8 minutes rather, and 20 seconds left here. 3-on-2 over the blue for Sachem. Payton in the far circle, shot blocked, deflected wide. Ritigliano trying to get space, circling in the zone. Round the net goes Ritigliano. Banks one to the blue line for Kalber. Throws it toward the net. Trying to get a deflection. Payton did, but it went wide. Now a shot from Giacomo, turned aside by Sasso, and flutters all the way down on goal to Walsh, who stops it for his defenseman, DiPietro. 7 minutes and 47 seconds left. Delayed offsides here on EI. No, it's a penalty on Sachem. So EI will get their first turn on the power play in just a moment, unless they score. Hesse doesn't possess the puck, so EI continue to press, and now a stoppage. And the Chiefs of East Islip will have their first look on the power play in a critical juncture of the game. 7:28 left here in the third. A game tied 2-2. Face off. 50-50 draw. Kicked out and drawing a penalty. Saguna, as he hustled after the puck, was taken down, and the East Islip power play got all of 8 seconds. And we'll skate 4 aside. It's a testament to something they teach you in hockey from a young age, and that's keep skating. That's what Saguna did there, and he draws the penalty. Tripping penalty assessed to Kyle Kearney. So Hesse in the box for hooking, by the way, for Sachem, and Kearney in the box for tripping. 4 aside for the next minute 50 seconds. More open ice, maybe, more chances for both of these teams. Artigliano trying to get possession of the puck. Lemaire, Justin, in the corner, prevails with the puck, sends around. Kane activates from the far point, has the puck. Kane trying to go around with it. Kane fighting off the checks there of Friesen, and an excellent defensive play by Brian Friesen. DiGiacomo held in, the puck deflects high into the EI bench. Look out, say the coaches. That puck had some heat on it. The EI coaching staff comprised of Sean Kendrick, Dominic Margot, and Vincent Risotto. Risotto, yeah. Like the dish? Maybe like the dish. Anyway, face-off continues, and back on for a shot from Saguna. Hit his own teammate Loeb in front, who was down on the ice to begin with. He's very slow to get up. Loeb still not even out of the zone yet. Meanwhile, here is Andrew Lemaire, and he can't get by Kane. Kane and Saguna out there for Sachem on defense. Backhanded up the right wing wall, board area, and that's where it's sent back down by Lemaire. Huge hit. Harrison knocked down by Kane. I don't think Harrison was expecting the reverse hit there from Kane, but of course, legal. Tigliano into the O-zone for Sachem. Out in front, and a deflection just wide from Hunter. Pardon me, that was Feely. Meanwhile, it's Kai Kelly going to work on Saguna. Saguna lost his edge a bit. Awkwardly kind of try to avoid Kelly there. And meanwhile, there's Retigliano, 2-on-3 over the blue line. Retigliano in his skates looking for it, trying to get around Friesen, who backhands neatly ahead to Harrison. Harrison, one of the 2 EI goal scorers tonight, couldn't get around Portanova and Krush. It's Lemaire spinning and shooting wide. Hesse with it. Hesse spinning in the corner. We're back to 5 aside. Shot, chance, save made Sasso. Portanova unable to hold in. This play is offside. Sachem touching up here. We play on with Matthew Friesen. On left wing side to Osimo. Osimo, return pass. Doesn't connect. Now out in front and sticked away by Walsh. Lead pass. Retigliano catches up with it. He's got Hesse with him. Wrist shot, save made. No rebound. Given up by Sasso. As we're deep here into the third period, 4:40. We'll throw 4 seconds back on. 4:40 left in the last period of regulation. We're tied up at 2, and it perfectly encapsulates the game we've seen thus far. It's been tight. It's been close. There's not been much space for either team. I'd say EI had the better of maybe the first half of the first period. And it's really been even since then, with ebbs and flows favoring either side. Calberer fires in for Sachem. Hesse, far boards. Circling, Hesse, one of the two Sachem goal scorers. A great individual effort for Hesse to DiPietro. Down the far wall, shot deflects over the net. Calberer fires it wide. DiPietro toward the net, blocked. Getting in the way of that most recent shot, Gregory Osimo. Fluttering puck, doesn't have enough for icing, slowly getting onto it, Hesse. Hesse spinning away from the forechecking Bogorowski. Hesse deking to get space around Bogorowski. Skates away from Bogorowski with Wellman and Hunter. Hesse never got a pass or shot through. Great defensive play made by Reynolds. Now Reynolds streaks up the right wing side. Reynolds drags. Reynolds, shot, save, rebound. Oh, what a save by Walsh. My goodness. Michael. What a move to the net by Reynolds. Save made. That's that rebound save. That is truly out of this world. Keeps Sachem tied at 2. EI that close to getting a crucial third goal here late in the third. Payton. Try to backhand ahead for DiGiacomo. Turn back over and away come EI. Blaschuk. Down the far wall. Kearney first on it. Kearney and Kane together in the near corner. Comes free to Blaschuk. Turns, fire, save, rebound over the stick of Kearney. Kearney and Kane again. Do battle. Spun out in front. And Saguna there to intercept. To his left winger, Payton. Payton. Off his stick and onto the stick of Kearney. Kearney trying to get around Saguna. Saguna blocks that pass in front. And it was headed net front bound for Blaschuk. Blaschuk with it here. Seam pass. Saucer connects. Friesen moves in. Friesen to Inga. Inga shot, save Walsh, and he holds. That's right. Donna Keoli's keeping it tight. Indeed they are. And in particular and most recently, Michael Walsh for Sachem. Minute and 54 seconds. Every point critical here for Sachem. Shot off the draw, denied by Walsh. Kicks in behind. Sachem clear. Krusch lost it to Andrew Lemaire. Hesse attempting to take over, now Portanova goes cross with it. Banked it on for Hesse, who stick handles and makes his way up ice. Zach Hesse moves in on the backhand. Hesse to the forehand, fanned on the shot. Had very similar vibes to that first goal he scored here tonight. Krusch keeps in at the near point. Fires it around the wall. Feely to catch up with it on the other side. Takes a bump from Brian Friesen. Held in by Portanova. Try to backhand it in further, and Friesen is there. Hesse back on defense. Potential turnover, a chance on the backhand, and a save made by the left pad of Michael Walsh as he denies Friesen. Brian Friesen, that is. Kelly keeps in near point. He sends down the wall with 38 seconds to play. Might as well be in overtime. It's a next goal wins type of situation as Portanova backhands around. Harrison keeps it in for EI. Scrum in the corner. Hesse gonna try to pin it against the boards, and after that doesn't work, try to skate it out. It was turned over by LaRue. Down goes Harrison. Here is Krusch. Turned over LaRue. LaRue to Lemaire, save for the right pad. Another try, out in front. Lemaire wide with the shot. As EI pressed for the win. A pass across. Couldn't find Lemaire, and Sachem get a point. They hold on a dear life at the end. As EI that close to ending it in regulation time, had it not be for the goaltending of Michael Walsh. And with that, I'll step aside in preparation here for overtime. You're listening to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League on LI Sports Network. Cameraman Wally Mitchell. I'm Ryan Brannigan. I don't know if I said that already. I might have. Be right back. 2-2. Overtime on its way. Welcome back here to the rinks in Hop Hog. 4 minutes up on the board. It'll be 4 aside. 4 minutes. So 4s are wild here in overtime. Unlike the NHL, it's not 3-on-3. Reynolds, wrister over the net. Pass ahead out of the reach of Retigliano. So again, both teams will get a point here tonight, which is very important for both sides. But the extra 2 is also paramount with their current standing. It's Friesen. Matthew on the backhand. Goes around the net. Matthew Friesen. Reversed now as EI picking up where they left off at the end of that third period where they were surging. Kearney near point. Shot goes wide. Now out in front, backhand shot, they score! It's Blaschuk on the backhand in overtime, and EI defeats Sachem 3-2. It's from behind the net, out in front. I don't think Hunter gets a stick on it, and it beats Walsh far side. And how about no real celly from Blaschuk either. Ice in his veins. As EI get the 3-2 win over Sachem in what was, at least on this side of the rink, the most entertaining game of the night by far. Blaschuk's second of the game. The OT winner, Kyle Kearney, picking up an assist. For Blaschuk, his goal total now climbs to 4 on the year. EI, they improve. They snatch win number 5 on the season and improve to 12 points in the standings, which puts them level with 4th place St. Anthony JV Gold in one more game played. Sachem, with the overtime loss, do get a point. They now have 7. It still puts them 1 behind 4 and 6 Connecticut-Sayville in 8th place. They really needed that 2nd point. Will it come back to haunt them later in the year? Well, that's just to find out later in the year. Anyway, that'll do it for our coverage here tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Suffolk County High School Hockey League right here and only on LI Sports Network. On behalf of our cameraman, Wally Mitchell, who was here for the majority of the game, left in the middle of it, producer Magnus Healy, I'm Ryan Brannigan, saying so long, and as always, till next time, have a good night. We're clear.